Module 3, How to Apply for the Idaho Food Stamp Program. Some eligible people may not be receiving food stamps because applying may seem daunting, yet the process in Idaho is within reach. Those who visit the Health and Welfare Office can spend just a few hours applying and then receive their benefits in a timely manner, sometimes as soon as the very next day. And those who are not able to visit an office can apply by mail, fax, or phone. Reevaluation for food stamps can also be a source of confusion, but following the process set out by the Health and Welfare will allow participants to continue receiving their benefits. While this module provides a lot of valuable and detailed information, it is important to keep in mind that the process of applying for and maintaining participation in the food stamp program is accessible to all Idahoans who are eligible. Applicants can apply for the Idaho Food Stamp Program either by person at any Department of Health and Welfare office or by submitting an application to Health and Welfare by mail or fax. In either case, the applicant will be asked to provide information about their identity, income, and assets. Once the applicant is receiving food stamps, he or she must remain aware of the program's reporting requirements and the recertification process, which will ensure continued receiving of benefits as long as the participant is eligible. The recertification process occurs on a 6-month, 1-year, or 2-year basis, dependent upon the recipient's circumstance, or if any information changes, for example, a mailing address or an increase and decrease of income. All participants are responsible for informing the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. On the following slides, we will take a look at each step in more detail. There are currently 20 health and welfare offices throughout Idaho, where applicants can apply for food stamps. Location and hours for each office are available on the Health and Welfare website or by calling 211. Offices are generally open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, except on holidays. The process of applying for benefits in person is generally more efficient than applying by mail or fax, and often applicants will be able to receive their benefits the next day. However, during busy times, applicants should anticipate potentially spending several hours at the Health and Welfare office. Wait time varies depending on traffic, and applicants are encouraged to come in the morning. On this slide, there's an example of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare website. To access the application, go to www.healthandwelfare.idaho.gov. Then select the Food Cash Assistance page, scroll down and select Food Stamps. On the Food Stamps page, scroll down to the link Application for Assistance. This link will take you to the application. This map illustrates the 20 locations of health and welfare offices in the state. To access the physical address, visit the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare website. Applicants who apply for food stamps in person will be interviewed by a self-reliant specialist, or SRS. These applicants will not have to fill out an application because the SRS will ask applicants questions and record their answers to create a record of the information necessary to determine eligibility. However, during the interview, applicants will be asked to provide proof of their income from the last 30 days, assets, and certain expenses, so gathering documentation in advance will be helpful in making sure that the application process goes smoothly. The SRS assisting the applicant may contact other parties on the applicant's behalf to verify any missing information. While a photo ID is preferred, proof of identity can be obtained through other documents and methods if necessary, and for the homeless individuals and families, a permanent address is not required. Furthermore, proof of immigration status is only required for applicants who are not U.S. citizens. Applicants who live far away from an office or are unable to come to an office during the hours it's open can access an application on the Health and Welfare website. Applicants can also request that an application be sent to them by calling Health and Welfare. Applicants can submit their application by mail or fax. Applications will be accepted so as long as the applicant's name, signature, and address are filled in, though eventually the Department of Health and Welfare will require additional information to determine whether the applicant is eligible for benefits. Those who submit applications by mail or fax should include copies of the documentations described on the previous slide if available. Doing so will provide Health and Welfare with sufficient information about the applicant's income, assets, and expenses to determine eligibility and benefit level. Those who apply for the food stamp program by mail or fax will have an eligibility interview by phone. Health and Welfare will send the applicant a letter with their interview appointment after his or her application has been received. As with an in-person interview, the self-reliant specialist will attempt to help the applicant verify missing information during the phone interview. During the interview, the applicant may be asked to submit additional information that is necessary to determine eligibility and benefit levels. Applicants will be notified within 30 days if their application is approved. In Idaho, applications are frequently processed much more quickly. The more quickly the applicant provides the needed verifications, the more quickly a determination can be made by a compliance specialist. If the applicant is denied benefits, he or she will receive a notice explaining the reason for denial. If the applicant feels that the benefits were wrongly denied, he or she may file an appeal within 90 days and request a hearing. Applicants who visit Health and Welfare in person have the right to apply for benefits the same day that they go there. They can also receive an application by mail by calling the Health and Welfare to request that one be sent. Once applicants have submitted all necessary information, they have the right to have the completed application processed within 30 days. In practice, most applications in Idaho are processed much more quickly. It is an applicant's responsibility to answer all questions on the application or during the interview completely and honestly. The applicant must also provide proof that he or she is eligible, although the self-reliant specialist who assists the applicant with the application process may contact other parties on the applicant's behalf to locate missing information. If an applicant is approved and begins to receive food stamp benefits, they must continue to be in contact with Health and Welfare. A participant in the food stamp program is required to report the changes listed here within the first 10 days of the month following the month in which the change occurs. They can report to the department by mail, email, phone, or in person. In addition to reporting requirements, participants who are not exempt from work requirements must take part in the Job Search Assistance Program, or JSAP. A more detailed explanation of JSAP can be found in Module 2 of this guide. Participants have a number of rights and responsibilities with regards to maintaining their participation in the program as well. To remain eligible for the food stamp program, a participant periodically has an interview and/or has to submit information to Health and Welfare. This process is called recertification. Participants have the right to receive a notice that their eligibility is about to expire at least 1 month before they must recertify for benefits. They also have the right to report decreases in income that could potentially increase their benefits at any time. In terms of responsibilities, participants are required to report certain changes to their situation whenever they occur. These changes include if a participant moves within Idaho or out of Idaho, if his or her income increases to exceed the income limits for eligibility, and if the working hours of certain participants decrease. During recertification, participants may be asked for additional information. Additionally, those who are not exempt from Idaho's Job Search Assistance Program must continue to participate in order to remain eligible for benefits. And finally, participants are required periodically to complete the recertification process. Careful attention to this process is very important to ensure continued receival of benefits. Most participants in the Idaho food stamps are certified to receive benefits for 6 months. However, seniors and people with disability have a 24-month certification period and a 12-month contact requirement. This generally means that these households must provide updated information about their situation after 12 months and are required to have an in-person interview at 24 months. Participants are able to register on the IdaLink portal online at idalink.idaho.gov in order to look up their recertification date and additional information on recertification. All participants will receive a notice alerting them to the expiration of their food stamp benefits at least 1 month prior to the end of their certification period. The notice will include the date benefits will end and the steps that the applicant must complete in order to continue benefits. Because recertification may or may not require an interview, it is important to read the notice and follow instructions on the notice. The major aspect of recertification is to highlight that it is a very straightforward process, but if a participant does not complete it, their food stamp benefits can be dropped immediately. If an applicant has questions as he or she is navigating the application process, they can call the Idaho Care Line 211 or 1-800-926-2588. The Care Line's hours are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Friday. The Department of Health and Welfare website also offers useful information about applying for, using, and renewing benefits, as well as access to important information and forms. Alternatively, applicants can call the USDA's National Toll-Free Information Line at 1-800-221-5689.